Welcome to Rad, a daily reader for Reddit. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. Update. I, 29F, keep finding long hairs in my bathroom. Which is strange because my husband, 32M, is bald and I have a short pixie crop hairstyle. www.reddit.com. Less than original post. I ultimately decided against getting a secret camera set up. Because ironically enough I didn't want to betray my partner's trust, though part of me wanted to get one, to squash any worries of someone living in my walls. As per some comments said, I did though plan to leave work early, which is something I've never done before. My boss allowed me to leave after a half day. Upon returning home, nothing seemed amiss. I was expecting another car on the drive or parked outside on the street. There was no other car I didn't recognize. Quietly letting myself in, I was immediately confused. In the hallway, there was a pair of shoes I didn't recognize. And not only that, they looked like men's shoes. Standing in the hallway trying to work out what to do, if I should sneak around or make my presence known. Before I could decide, my husband walked out of the kitchen with 2 cups of tea. By my husband's face it was obvious he was surprised to see me. Playing along with naivete, I asked my husband how he could have known I was coming home early to make me tea, expecting my husband to lie. He surprised me by sitting me down and explaining everything. At the beginning of lockdown, his friend, someone I'm not all that close with because only met once, was evicted, lost his job, and had been couch surfing. So for some days over the past couple of weeks, this guy has been traveling to our house, and with the acceptance of my husband, using our bathroom to freshen up to attend interviews. He was also borrowing shirts and suits from my husband. As it turns out, my husband's friend has long hair and a beard. So it turns out my husband isn't cheating on me but was hiding the fact his long-haired friend was coming over to use our shower. After his shower, I ended up meeting Dave, and he turned out to be a very nice bloke just down on his luck. I wished him the best for his socially distanced interview and he went on his way. I asked my husband why he didn't just tell me, as I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Turns out he was worried about my reaction and me not liking his friend or approving of the situation. He also told me Dave was very embarrassed about the whole situation and didn't want people to know what he was having to do. I told my husband I was starting to believe he was cheating and he was shocked, having not even considering those implications while attempting covering for his friend. I told him this whole thing was ridiculous and even suggested his friend live with us until he's back on his feet. Funnily enough, my worst case scenario which was mentioned in the replies was either a homeless man or woman living in my walls and sneakily using the shower. And though this seems to be half the case, I'm glad it wasn't a stranger as such that wasn't unwelcome and someone that wasn't living in my walls. Thank you everyone that commented and took an interest in this. It's always good when these posts have an ending that isn't cheating. Might be worth having a talk with the hubby about openness and truth. But I'm glad you guys are okay. Remember the one about the guy who went engagement ring shopping with the female friend who was supposedly also hanging out with the girl? Turned out they were buying stuff for each other. Good stuff. Yes, his girlfriend was making herself comfortable handling snakes because he loved snake and she wanted to get one for him as a surprise. What if all this was just a cover-up for him having an affair with a man? Edit. Op. You have piqued our interest. Husband's BF to us. Should we have a story ready in case the wife comes back? Husband, you ill. Just say you're homeless. Husband's BF, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Or another scenario, husband to BF later when they are alone after the wife walked in. How lucky are we that we decided to do a homeless role play? Quote. You hit the nail on the head. Cover story for hooking up with Dave is exactly what I thought. It's simple enough that it doesn't have to have been pre-prepared. At the beginning of lockdown, his friend, someone I'm not all that close with because only met once, was evicted, lost his job, and had been couch surfing. So for some days over the past couple of weeks, this guy has been traveling to our house, and with the acceptance of my husband, using our bathroom to freshen up to attend interviews. He was also borrowing shirts and suits from my husband. As it turns out, my husband's friend has long hair and a beard. This story actually doesn't make a lot of sense. Why can't Dave bathe wherever he's spending the night if he's couch surfing? Dave is a good enough friend that the husband would risk doing all this behind her back. But she's barely met him. Where are Dave's clothes, suits, shirts, etc. Did he lose all his clothes when he got evicted or lost his job? While I could see making do with a shirt, a suit that isn't tailored would look like crap. The odds that our husband and Dave are the exact same size would be rather low. What kind of job would require a suit for an interview, but would be fine with long hair and a beard? That seems dubious, albeit not impossible, simply improbable. Why couldn't Dave simply borrow the suit, shirt and bring them back when he's done if he really didn't own one? Even if the entire story is true, doubtful. It should concern Ott that her husband thinks she's such a monster that letting some dude take a shower and borrow some clothes would be a big deal to her. Especially for a friend who has hit some hard times. ETA. I'll concede this point on long hair and beards. Given the switch to business casual even in traditionally white shoe professional settings these days, I had assumed that the suit requirement, if it existed, had to entail jobs in particular roles of professional sectors that would be less apt to be open to long hair and beards. In many jobs, neatly pulled back hair and trimmed beards would suffice. ETA 2. Your wife comes to you and asks about long hairs found in the bathroom. Your reply is "That's weird" versus "I let a buddy use the shower a few days ago before an interview." Done and dusted. You don't need to mention homelessness or embarrass the friend. You don't even need to tell her which friend. Instead, you go with "That's weird" and lie because your friend, who is such a close friend your wife has only ever met him once and barely knows his name, might be embarrassed. Also, if he's living in it, where's his car? Ott didn't notice any unknown cars near her house when she came home early. If he's living in his car, why wouldn't he drive it to the house to shower? Or was Dave going to shower, get cleaned up, put on a suit, and dress shoes, I guess, then walk back to his car, then sit in his car before going to the interview? Wouldn't you time it better to leave from the house to go directly to the interview, rather than walking to the house, showering and getting ready, then walking back to your car to go to the interview? As the person who has been down like that before, it is kind of embarrassing if you've lost everything and just want to get back on his feet as discreetly as possible. Dave might have been couch surfing, but if he needed to use their shower and bathroom he was probably in actuality homeless and just wasn't telling OP's husband. It's respectable to try and get back up on your feet and not feel like you're bothering everyone. There's probably more to Dave's story than Ott is stating or even knows about. Couch surfing is homelessness when you have friends. Homelessness is when you have been homeless so long those friends have abandoned you and you are on the street. But imagine if you had done the camera thing though. Happy crying face. Catch hubby and Dave in the act. PFF a happy and dramaless ending. Lady, this is our relationship _advice. I reject your reality and choose my own. Your husband is cheating on you with Dave. They were freaking up. Brew, he's taking showers for online interviews. 2 cups of tea. Hiding him. Come on son. The tea was weird to me at first, but I noticed Ott used the word bloke. So maybe they're British and tea is just what they do. Is 2 guys drinking tea gay in the United States? As a gay man, in the United States 2 guys having any interaction that doesn't involve beer and a game, sports or video, is considered gay. I can't imagine having to be in a relationship with the people in this sub. Any disagreement or misunderstanding and it's mandatory therapy or infidelity. Y'all are exhausting. What is this? Relationship _advice fan fiction. This is written so much like a story I find it hard to believe. 10 out of 10 great narrative. This just seems weird to me. An odd thing not to tell you also about. But if you believe him then all power to you. Wish you the best. It's just a made-up story. People do these creative writing exercises to get people pumped up accusing the so of cheating. To say dump them and then an update that says they weren't cheating. They were planning a surprise party for me. Planning a surprise gift. Had a completely embarrassing but understandable secret. Doing it in their sleep. Etc. etc. Sorry that your husband turned out bi. Almost all the comments here either seem to be 1. Wow, how nice of him, glad this was the reason. Or 2. He's still lying, he's cheating on or with this man. But even if it is the first one, even if he's being a good friend to this guy, isn't this still very not cool how this went down? particularly during COVID. If I found out my husband was sneaking somebody in during a pandemic to use our home and hiding it from me, I'd be pretty upset. Also, anytime your partner says, "I didn't tell you because I was afraid of your reaction," the subtext there is, "I didn't tell you because I wasn't sure if you'd be on board and I'd rather deceive you than risk not getting to do what I wanted to do." Whether he is doing a very generous and nice thing or not. This is a shared home, and if he was worried I might not be comfortable with this man there, then that's a reason to explore other options. Not do it anyway and hide it from her. This was a big violation of their shared home and relationship. Thanks for watching Rad. Like and subscribe for daily Reddit videos. If you like these videos, check out Rad too.